Yesterday we got our first title update for Vanguard. Today we got a follow-up that changed a few more things, and we covered all that kind of stuff, what changed on the channel, but surprisingly there are a few things that were still relatively left untouched. Some things that are downright broken and in some other areas just completely overpowered. So that's what we're going to talk about today, what you should be using of those things that still remain before they're fixed, before they're nerfed, because that could happen at any point now. So if you're trying to rank up a weapon with the best possible kill potential, whatever the case, we're talking about 7 things that you should try before they're adjusted. As we go along, let me know your thoughts down below. Is there anything in particular that I missed out of this list? Anything that you really hope is changed out of this? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. Let's aim for 2,000 likes on this video. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Vanguard, whether that be best classes, camo guides, tips, tricks, news and information. We got you covered with everything. So if you'd like to join us on that road to 500,000 subscribers, with nearly 70% of viewers not subscribed, if you'd like to stay up to date with all things Vanguard, I'd love to have you in the community. And finally, my friends over at G Fuel bumped up code Espresso to 30% off your entire order. So if you guys want to restock, you want to try something out for the very first time, whatever the case, that link's in the description below. But that said, let's jump into what's been untouched but probably won't be for long. So broken stuff, or at least incredibly powerful stuff. As we mentioned, a lot of this stuff will actually get adjusted probably within the next couple of days to weeks. Fine-tuning of everything is something that is always tough, especially at launch. Of course, we don't have everything in the beta, so when everything is introduced to the millions of players around the world that pick the game up, of course, you're going to end up getting exponentially more data as opposed to however much testing you can do in-house. So a lot of this will probably be adjusted within the next couple of days to weeks, so try it out while you can. The first thing that I want to talk about is just basically the overall proficiency that we'll actually mention in combination with a couple of things in this video of Vital. Vital increases the size of the critical hit area on enemies, meaning that that headshot multiplier is extended outside of just that head, giving you more damage dealt in areas that otherwise would not do that. And that's something that when you look at the TTK, the damage values of a lot of weapons, the weapons that this is available on, because it's not on every single one, makes it incredibly worth running, and in a lot of the cases, makes it the only proficiency worth running for those weapons that have it in the mix. This is added in with absolutely no downside whatsoever. It doesn't change any damage values. It doesn't change any bullet velocity, any damage ranges, nothing like that for the negative. It just simply increases your potential for kills. So if you're not using Vital on the weapons that end up having it available, you're missing out. The next couple of things we'll talk about are more so combinations of things to run on certain weapons that make them incredible. First up of those, we're talking about the 50 BMG rounds. I've been using it on the bar most recently. It is available for other weapons as well. I think it's on the Bren and a couple of others, but the 50 BMG, at least in how I've been using it, comes in that 20 to 30 round mag and increases your damage, bullet penetration, and bullet velocity and range, making it an incredible asset for whatever weapon you're using on it. Now, interestingly enough, it's something that inherently makes it a little harder to control in terms of recoil, but on certain weapons, it doesn't actually really seem to affect that. Again, coming back to what I've mostly used it with is the bar. That thing feels like 0 recoil when you equip it, whereas the base rounds, that's where I think it's a little bit harder to manage. So if you got a rifle or something that has that more high power option, definitely give that a shot. Next, we're going to talk about one that I was playing around with a little bit in terms of just weapon leveling. I was playing some DOS House and was ranking up my M1928 or the Thompson, and the build that absolutely makes this thing night and day is the 8mm on the Thompson with either the ammo type of hollow point or lengthened. It really depends on what types of engagements you're challenging, whether you're going for that longer range in relation to requiring better bullet velocity, or if it's a little bit more close quarters, like DOS House is a solid example of this, where hollow point can work because it extends that limb damage and offers up a little bit more potential in terms of killing quicker. But the 8mm rounds is what really does this. Everything else in regards to that, the 45 ACP 30 rounds, the 9mm rounds, they're missing that one key component in relation to the damage increase. This takes that Thompson from being a solid weapon that will get a lot of hit markers but can get the kill to something that kills in 3 to 4 shots, almost guaranteed at any range. Now, talking about another SMG, this one is actually stupid. It is straight up broken. Like, actually, it's bugged to the point where the damage multipliers and the proficiency stack where they shouldn't be stacking as much. That being the 30 Russian short 30 round from the Type 100 mixed with the Vital proficiency. This makes it so that if you shoot anywhere in the upper chest, literally anywhere else where that shot hits, that's a 2-shot kill. Now, once this is fixed out, it'll still be a solid 3-shot kill weapon and have an incredibly fast TTK, but right now, that is quite literally broken. While an update could come for this as of tomorrow, maybe not until next week, we don't don't know, but it is something that while your enemies may have their sights set on the MP40, the STG, this thing will shred through absolutely anybody. If I'm not mistaken, I think this might be the fastest TTK out of any weapon in Vanguard right now. So if you're leveling up SMGs, you're looking for what you could do next, well, this isn't a half bad choice to start leveling up and get while you still have the opportunity to. Next, one big thing that has been everywhere. You probably have seen some clips on it from some of your favorite creators already, perhaps, but if you're playing DOS House, chances are you've seen a lot of shotgun gameplay. Now, here's the thing. There are two shotgun builds in particular that are just straight up broken. The first, we'll deal with the combat shotgun. This one, if you include the buck and slugs and the vital proficiency on the combat shotgun, you can also do this with the packed powder, but buck and slugs is a little bit better if I'm not mistaken. This again is slightly bugged out to the point where you can hit even just the edge of the cone of hip fire, you're going to get a one-shot kill. And that is something that is insane to consider when you're in that max damage range. With all that close quarters action in mind, with DOS House being around for a little bit as that 24/7 playlist, a lot of my squad was just ranking up the shotguns because it's hard to get those shotgun kills to be able to rank it up in some of these larger maps. If you're playing Red Star, that's not an ideal map for shotguns. So they were getting them done and everything like that, and they cracked the code, man. They found this and they were immediately like, Jordan, try this. And man, it is stupid good. Same thing with the next one here, because the double barrel shotgun has this strange ability where whoever thought it was a great idea to reinvent the Ranger akimbos for Modern Warfare 2, well, it's back, man. You can have akimbo double barrels and you can increase the killing potential with that packed powder. Throw on the sawed-off barrel here for it and you got something that absolutely shreds through your enemies again in those close quarter situations. Don't take this on Red Star, but DOS House, you can cause a little bit of chaos. And fortunately for those going up against it, you can't have something like akimbo and gung-ho, both of those being weapon proficiencies for this, so at least you're not going to see people full-on sprinting towards you at super speed while also shooting. So that's at least, I guess, the downside to that if you're using it, that you can't use both of those, but this makes it incredibly busted as well. Now, that's going to do it for a lot of the weapon builds and things you should try out in that regard, but one thing that I want to tack on here at the end of this is a perk that not many people are using, and understandably so, because when you take a look at the perk category of perk 2, you have a lot of options that are actually pretty competitive. I mean, you have radar. If you're playing 6v6, I think this is a solid choice. I personally don't take it in assault or blitz just because it's so chaotic and there's gunfire everywhere, so I'm not really chasing dots as much as I would be in 6v6 because there's oftentimes more UAVs up that I can do that without the perk and things alike. But there's also things like high alert, which of course pings you if somebody's looking at you outside of your point of view, which helps you stay out of any engagements you don't necessarily want. Engineer has been incredibly helpful here for me in terms of the launcher grind, but gonna switch off of that once I'm complete with it. But forward intel is something that is incredibly advantageous if you're somebody that is going on a streak or you're trying to play a little bit heads up in terms of watching for those flips if your team is pushing those spawns at all. This is something that expands that minimap area, but also shows you when the air quote enemy reinforcements are coming and where they're coming on the minimap. That's essentially just where players are spawning. It'll show up as an open shape that blinks on your minimap once somebody ends up spawning in and in that direction of, or particularly where it's at. So if you're worried about the spawns flipping on you, which they do happen often in a lot of the maps, it's a great way to combat that. So give it a try if you're willing to test out something new within perk 2. But anyways, that's the stuff you should absolutely try within Vanguard before it is changed, before it's nerfed, whatever the case may be. So let me know your thoughts down below. Have you guys tried any of these out? Are you guys liking what we've seen so far out of these in particular? Do you think they're as powerful as we think? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Vanguard. We'll keep you up to date with absolutely anything you need to know. So if you're new, hit the subscribe button. If you also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to chat with me outside of YouTube. So if you'd like to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever the case may be, links in the description below. But that said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.